This week in my farmhouse kitchen, I'm using little pockets of time to create meals for the busy weeks ahead. I'm using some random leftovers along with pantry staples to create some tried and true recipes and some new creative ones for my family. I think they're sure to love them, and I hope you do too. Well, hey there, sweet friend. Welcome back. I am so glad to have you in our farmhouse kitchen today. I am whipping up some freezer meals based off of a lot of leftover ingredients we have here in the kitchen, and it feels good to use it all up knowing that I am also saving myself some dinner conundrums in the future. We're going to jump right into it here with a white chicken chili that I often make for our family. Now, you may have seen me go ahead and put in that block of cream cheese, and this is going to be up for debate. I feel like if I was going for presentation and a perfect, bowl of soup here, I would probably omit the cream cheese until the last cooking, maybe hour in the crock pot. But I am going for easy dinners that I already have thought completely through, and I don't want to have to think about the block of cream cheese later on, whether or not I'll have it on hand when I want to feed my family. So I am going to throw it all in here in the freezer, and I think as long as I cook it on low for a few hours, it's going to melt nice and even in the soup. But again, that's probably up for debate in the comments section. All I'm going to say is I am going for convenience here. That's hence the freezer meals in the first place. So I'm trying to get dinner all in one bag and done. I'm throwing in some diced green chilies here and some Mexican corn. Now, I usually also include a white bean because this is white chicken chili, but I don't have any right now. So I'm going to go down to my basement grocery store and grab a can of black beans. I'm also going to add in the chicken stock I made last week from the bones of this bird, from this rotisserie chicken. I did not run it fully to be a bone broth, but it's still going to be a nice flavorful stock and perfect for this soup. Now I'm going to rinse my black beans. These were some black beans that I had canned. The thing I love about having those canned beans on hand instead of buying dried beans is that they're ready to go for basically anything. All you have to do is rinse them and toss them into whatever you're making. I find that so much easier than remembering to soak dried beans and then put them together. So I'm going to double bag this soup and get it frozen flat here in my freezer. And speaking of having some good ingredients on hand ready to go, I need to get this Thrive box unpacked and tell you about them because they are today's video sponsor. You may have heard me talk about Thrive Market before, but I receive their grocery box at least once a month. It's an online grocery store where everything meets the quality standards I set for my family and helps me to be a little bit better. Now, I'm all about progress over perfection when it comes to our groceries and our cooking here. I like to say we're metabolically balanced. We try to be healthier, but then, we may eat out here and there. But if I can control just the ingredients in my house or those things we eat repetitively all of the time, I feel like we're making progress towards being healthier here. Thrive does all of the hard work for me by eliminating all of those nasty ingredients that everyone's trying to avoid these days. High fructose corn syrup, all of the dyes, all of the things. I'll show you some of my favorite things that I get in my box today just to give you an idea of what they offer because I have expanded not only from groceries but also to cleaning products and everything in between. All right, let's do a little bit of an unboxing here with what I received in today's order, and I'm also gonna pull out a few favorites that I have sitting around my kitchen just to show you the variety of products that I've gotten from Thrive. I love getting these chickpea pasta noodles from them. They're a higher protein pasta. I always have those on hand along with ketchup and peanut butter. Again, just making healthier choices and swaps when it comes to those items we use again and again, like popcorn. Never run out of that around here. I also like their tomato paste tubes. I always keep one of these in my refrigerator ready to go for any recipe, anytime. The chicken bone broth is a good staple to have on hand, and I'm always stocked up on their avocado oil. The other day, I actually ran out of the avocado oil, and I wanted to mention I love their mobile app because you can scan anything as you're out of it, and it automatically can add it to your list. Just another convenient thing I love about Thrive. You can also find popular supplements and drink mixes on Thrive, as well as cleaning supplies, and feel really good about all of the ingredients. So I love that they take all of the guesswork out of that for me and make everything a little more clean and healthy around here. If you're ready to make some more healthy swaps in your grocery shopping and you want to give Thrive Market a chance, I have a code I can share with you that will save you 30% off your first order, plus you'll get a free gift of up to $60. And all of that is going to be linked for you in the description box below. I hope you'll give Thrive Market a shot, and thank you again to Thrive for sponsoring today's video. All right, it always feels good having a good grocery haul put away, and I know I'm gonna feel the same way once we get all of these freezer meals tucked away as well. Now, the next freezer meal is a bit of an experiment, I'm not gonna lie. First, we have to get rid of the ladybug. Can anyone relate to this? These are those little Asian beetles that just follow me around everywhere in our house, but they particularly like my kitchen, so I often have to watch what I'm cooking. I know, isn't that gross? So anyway, clean pan here, ready to go again. In my stand mixer here, I am mixing some softened cream cheese, some Rotel, which in hindsight, I think I would have strained that a little bit on the juice part. And then I'm going to throw in a bunch of seasonings. So here's what I'm doing. I have a bunch of leftover pork loin that needs to get used up. And it's a great protein that I don't want to waste it. And we had a whole bunch left over. So I'm going to cut it up into small pieces and mix it together with this cream cheese mixture. And then I'm going to put it between some large tortillas with some extra cheese and freeze them for quesadillas later. Now, the thing with this is it's going to come down to how we reheat it later to make it a success or a flop. What I'm planning to do is to pull them out of the freezer and throw them into a hot skillet. I like to use a nonstick skillet with a little avocado oil, and I'm going to brown up each side of the quesadilla. Although it may still be slightly frozen on the inside. What I like to do is put my quesadillas in the oven after I get them done in the skillet, and that often gives the best texture anyway, regardless of it being frozen or not. I always find that sticking them in the oven while you're making the other quesadillas often leads to like a really nice crisp exterior and just perfectly melty interior. So I'm hoping that that is exactly how this is going to go. There's a lot of cheese involved. I can't imagine it's going to turn out as a flop one way or another. Can you go wrong with a bunch of cheese? I don't think so. I think the key will be to reheat these at a medium to low heat so they don't burn too quickly on the exterior before the internal temperature is just gooey, cheesy, melty goodness. Now, everything is pre-cooked on the inside of this, I should say as well. The pork loin was completely cooked, so all we're doing is reheating that. So I thought these would be great because I can pull out all 4 of these huge quesadillas and have a good like Mexican dinner with a side of chips and salsa or a salad. But we can also just pull out 1 or 2 if the kids need something quick on an evening before baseball. We'll be ready to go either way. We can pull out what we need. So as I'm finishing up these quesadillas, I have put some wax paper between them on a cookie sheet, and I'm going to go flash freeze these in the deep freeze for just a little while and then bag them up after that. I'm doing my best to press them together because the hardest part about making quesadillas is them not falling apart when you make the flip. Do you know what I mean? So that's gonna help with that, I think, later on too. Now, we still have more pork loin left over, so I'm going to shred up the rest of this, and I thought about just tossing it in a barbecue sauce. We could pull it out and throw it into a slow cooker just on warm to reheat it, but I actually have a little bit of this orange stir-fry sauce I found at Aldi recently, and we all really liked it. We had orange chicken one evening over some like roasted broccoli and rice, so I thought this could be a great thing to have in the freezer along with the frozen broccoli or something. That way I could always pull it out on any given night of the week and we could be set to go. Now, I don't have a whole bottle here, so I am looking at the ingredient list on the bottle and just kind of amping it up a little bit with some brown sugar, some toasted sesame seed oil, and a little bit of soy sauce. I'm, of course, rinsing out that bottle and getting every last little drop out of the bottle too. I also just have a few orange slices left over from a fruit platter we had, so I thought I'll toss those in there as well. And then when I pull this out to cook it, I will just be reheating this maybe in a slow cooker on warm throughout the day. I definitely don't want to cook that pork any further because pork has a tendency to dry out. So I thought this, adding it to this sauce and just reheating it in that will really help to reconstitute that pork loin, and it will feel so fresh over a bed of rice and some veggies. Now, one thing I'm loving about these freezer meals that I'm making today is that it's helping me get through a bunch of leftovers that might otherwise go bad. And I think that is something that people overlook way too often when they're making freezer meals. Honestly, freezer meals don't end up saving you much money if there's still a bunch of waste. I think it's not only important to use some recipes that you're familiar with or that you know your family loves, but also not to overinvest in a bunch of ingredients and then throw it in a bag, toss it in the freezer and forget about it, or end up wasting some leftovers on one end or the other. So tonight I'm throwing together some sandwiches that I just had, obviously, as you can see, some random remnants of things left in the cabinet that needed to get used up. So I'm just making a turkey and cheese sandwich. And I got to thinking, I didn't have time as I was making these to do anything else to them, but I'm just going to freeze them like this. If I was going to leave them in the freezer longer, I'd probably start with some plastic wrap and then throw on some foil just to keep it extra fresh. But I know we'll be using these before too long. I thought I could bake them when they come out, but as I've been making this video with you, I also felt like, those are really great sandwiches that we could just pull out of the freezer and take off to baseball with us for the day, throw them in the cooler, and on a warm day, they will thaw out in no time and be perfect for a nice cold lunch at the field. Now, back to some more sandwiches. This is just one thing that I have found is a really quick freezer meal. Sometimes my problem with freezer meals is I don't remember to lay them out the night before, or I don't have an hour to an hour and a half to be in my kitchen physically to watch the oven bake the frozen meal. So sometimes freezer meals are great, but if they're not, throw it in the crock pot and forget it, or heat up in about 20 minutes, then they really don't save me much on the other end of things. So a while back, I had made ham and Swiss sliders like this, and they heated really quickly in the oven. I want to say it was like 20, maybe 25 minutes with some foil on around it, and it was done. And I thought, this is the greatest thing ever. So I'm going to make a ton of sandwiches like this. So today, as you're seeing, I am making Philly cheesesteak sliders. And I'm going to use the last bit of the pork loin and make kind of a barbecue pork loin with grilled onion slider. And these will be great to have in the freezer. They're great for, impromptu gatherings at our house. If we have friends over and we just want something quick to eat, this will be great. I also have a really yummy topping that I'm going to show you how to put on top of the sliders. Now, after I've made this video, I have a little bit more knowledge to share with you. I used some pretty thick cut roast beef on those Philly cheesesteak sliders, and I baked one over the past weekend. They were delicious, but I will say they did not bake as quickly as I had remembered the ham sliders baking. Maybe it was the thickness of the slice of meat. Maybe it was the fat content. I'm not really sure. Let me know your theory in the comments below. These took more like 45 minutes with foil on over the top to actually heat all the way through. So I was really frustrated in that way because it took longer, but overall, they were delicious. And I know for sure these barbecue pork sandwiches will be delicious, but definitely will need to thaw them out the night before or bake them for longer. Now, you would think that the rolls would get really dried out baking for 45 minutes in the oven, but they really don't. I ended up making a glaze to go over the top, and I just keep the foil on the entire time. That way it doesn't over toast the bun, but they turned out so good. Even my husband was like, "What did you put on those Philly cheesesteaks? They were so good." So I guess I can just say they were worth the wait. Now, this last meal I'm going to share with you was intended to be a freezer meal experiment, but it didn't quite turn out how I had planned. But I thought I'd share it with you because it was quite delicious anyway. And I thought while we're here in the kitchen, we might as well share some ideas. I am first working on my main biscuit recipe. You can find this over at my blog at rustichoney.com, but I usually just do these for drop biscuits, or I cut out biscuits and freeze them. But today I thought I would work on a breakfast pizza. I recently had bought a grab and go or take and go, whatever you call them, pizza at Walmart, and they started making breakfast pizza. And I thought, well, I could do this at home myself. I'll just use my regular biscuit dough, and we'll use our homemade gravy and our farm fresh eggs, and it'll be, better for us, but still absolutely delicious and a quick thing we can pull out of the freezer. So I guess what I'm saying is I took the Walmart pizza, I froze it, and it reheated beautifully in the oven. So I thought I might as well do a homemade version. And that is something I will share, that I like to get freezer meal ideas from what you already find in the store. So if there's a company or a business that's doing a freezer meal of a certain kind, whether it's like a Chinese chicken or a breakfast pizza, then try to replicate that at home to your own liking, to your own recipes, and then you kind of have a better version of a homemade meal ready to go in your freezer. All that to say, I'm going to continue to work on this idea because I want to make better frozen pizzas, and, whether it be, regular frozen pizza or breakfast pizza, I love having those in the freezer. For this morning's breakfast pizza, I made that biscuit dough, shaped it into a rectangle, and baked it at about 450 for 10 minutes. Now I'm making my toppings, which is going to be these scrambled eggs that I'm going to leave slightly undercooked because I want them to finish in the oven and not become too dry. And then I'm also going to take some cooked sausage I already have ready to go this morning and make my gravy with just about a tablespoon of flour and about a cup of milk. So I'm not making a ton of gravy, but just enough to use that as my sauce on the pizza. Then we're going to put the eggs on top of the sauce and top it all off with some white cheddar cheese, and then finish melting this toasty little breakfast pizza in the oven for a few more minutes. Again, this breakfast pizza was a total win with my family this morning, but I think for a freezer biscuit, I need to come up with a dough that I can make a little bit more thin. I feel like it was just a little too poofy. It was a little too much like biscuits for this pizza. So I need to continue to work on that. But this was a win for sure. And it actually lasted us for 2 breakfasts. So amen to not having to cook the next morning. And that's always a win too. I hope you got some good ideas and inspiration today for some freezer meals, and I hope it encourages you to use up what you have, let nothing go to waste, and make delicious food for your family. Let me know in the comments below which recipe was your favorite, and I'll see you in the next one.